Many people have asked, why do kind hearts suffer while cruel hands seem to prosper? It is an ancient question, older than kingdoms, older than temples, older than memory itself. Many believed that heaven rewards the righteous without delay and punishes the wicked before long. But the Buddha, the awakened teacher who revealed the path beyond suffering, offered a quieter answer. He did not promise that every generous act would be followed by immediate joy, nor did he claim that every harmful deed would instantly bring misery. Instead, he invited people to look more carefully. A farmer never stands beside a newly planted seed, demanding fruit before sunset. The earth keeps its own rhythm. The rain arrives in its own season. The harvest appears only when countless conditions meet. So it is with karma. Not a judge, not a punishment, not a reward, but a law of cause woven together with countless other causes. What appears unfair today may belong to a story whose beginning has long faded from human memory. The eyes see only one moment. Wisdom asks what lies beyond that moment. One of the greatest misunderstandings is to imagine karma as though it were a king upon a throne, a good deed placed upon one side, a harmful deed placed upon the other, then judgment delivered before the day is done. The Buddha never described karma this way. He spoke instead of intention. Every intention is like a seed entering fertile ground. Some seeds awaken quickly, some remain hidden through many changing seasons, others never grow because the conditions never arrive. The seed alone is never the whole story. So when a generous person suffers, it is unwise to conclude that goodness has failed. And when a cruel person prospers, it is equally unwise to believe that harm carries no consequence. The river does not reveal its distant source to one standing upon a single shore. Human judgment often seeks certainty too soon. The Dharma asks for something different: patience, humility, and the courage to admit. That reality reaches farther than ordinary sight can follow. There is another illusion, even more subtle. People believe that what they witness today must have been created today. The Buddha gently dissolved this assumption. He taught that every moment arises through countless conditions. No single leaf falls because of one wind alone. No mighty tree stands because of one drop of rain. Everything that appears is supported by causes too numerous for ordinary eyes to trace. So when a compassionate soul walks beneath heavy sorrow, do not rush to call the world unjust. You are seeing only one page from a scroll whose beginning remains hidden. Likewise, when a violent man sits upon a splendid throne, do not mistake comfort for freedom. A bright garment cannot conceal a restless heart. A crowded palace cannot silence the whisper of fear. The fruits before your eyes may have grown from seeds planted long before this season began, and the seeds being planted today may remain unseen until another season arrives. The Dharma asks us not merely to observe, but to understand. Seeing is not the same as knowing. Many believe that suffering must always be a sentence, a debt being collected, a wrong being repaid. The Buddha did not teach such a simple world. He spoke instead of dukkha, the universal truth that all conditioned life contains unsatisfactoriness. The gentle grow old, the cruel grow old, the wise lose those they love, the foolish lose them too. No one steps beyond this law, not because they have failed, but because everything that comes together must one day part. Rain falls upon every roof. Winter visits every valley. The river does not choose whose feet it will touch. To ask, why do good people suffer, is to imagine that goodness was ever promised, a world without change. The Buddha never made such a promise. Goodness does not remove the seasons of existence. It changes how one walks through them. The storm may still arrive, but it no longer decides the direction of the heart. When people ask, why do good people suffer? They often believe they are asking about justice. The Buddha heard a deeper question. He heard the restless mind searching for certainty, wanting every mystery to be explained, every loss to make sense, every ending to feel deserved. Yet wisdom does not grow from possessing every answer. It begins with seeing the limits of one's own sight. This is the end of ignorance, avidya, not because every secret has been uncovered, but because the heart no longer demands that reality obey its expectations. The sky does not become smaller because one traveler cannot see beyond the mountains. The ocean does not become shallow because one sailor cannot reach its depths. Reality has never depended upon human judgment. Only human pride believes it does. The wise, therefore, judge slowly, speak carefully, and remain humble before causes too vast to fully comprehend. Not every seed stands in the same line. Most karma waits patiently. It rests behind other seeds, other lifetimes, still unfolding. But the old teaching speaks of another kind, a weight so heavy it cannot be postponed. Garuka Kama, the ancient texts call it, actions of such severity that no ordinary patience applies to them. To strike down a parent, to harm a fully awakened being, to shed the blood of one revered above all others, to tear apart a sacred community from within. These do not join the ordinary queue. They move to the front of it. Even a mountain of accumulated goodness cannot hold them back forever. Not because the universe seeks vengeance, but because some wounds cannot wait to be tended. They demand their hour, or they will take everything with them. Remember this. Wait, remember it well, because you are about to meet a man who carried it. A man whose crimes were so severe that even a heart fully transformed could not simply walk away from what came before. Many centuries ago, there lived a man whose name inspired terror. Angulimala, a feared bandit whose story is preserved in the ancient Buddhist scriptures. He wandered the forests, taking innocent lives, so consumed by delusion that he wore a garland of fingers taken from his victims. Villages trembled at the sound of his approach. Travelers changed their paths. Parents held their children close. To many, he appeared to be a man who had escaped justice, yet the Buddha walked calmly toward the very forest where Angulimala waited. Those who saw him begged him to turn back. But compassion does not choose only the safe road. Seeing the solitary monk, Angulimala rushed forward, certain his next victim would be easy prey. He ran with all his strength. Yet no matter how fiercely he chased, he could not reach the Buddha, who continued, walking peacefully. At last, exhausted and bewildered, he cried out, "Stop, ascetic!" The Buddha answered, with perfect calm, "I have already stopped. Angulimala, it is you who have not stopped." The words struck deeper than any weapon. For the first time, the bandit saw that his feet had never been the true problem. It was his craving, his hatred, his blindness. Those had been running without rest. In that single moment, his heart broke open. He cast aside his weapons. He knelt before the Buddha and asked to leave behind the life he had once embraced. The Buddha accepted him, not because his crimes had vanished, but because his mind had genuinely changed. Angulimala entered the monastic life. He learned to live with humility instead of violence. Yet the story did not end with easy forgiveness. When he walked through villages, people recognized him. Some shouted, some cursed, some threw stones. His body bled often. His robes were torn. One day, he returned to the Buddha, covered in wounds. The Buddha looked at him with deep compassion and said, "You are experiencing here what otherwise might have borne fruit far more painfully." The teaching was neither revenge nor reward. It was truth. A transformed heart does not erase every consequence already set in motion. Past actions may still ripen, but new wisdom prevents new chains from being forged. Angulimala could not change the deeds already done. But he changed the one thing that mattered most: the mind that would never create them again. Perhaps the question was never truly why good people suffer, nor why bad people seem to win. Perhaps the deeper question is this: what do we mean by suffering? And what do we mean by victory? The Buddha never measured life by comfort, nor by wealth, nor by power. He looked instead at the condition of the heart. A restless heart remains poor even inside a palace. A peaceful heart remains rich even beneath an open sky. The world will continue to change. Fortunes will rise and disappear. Bodies will flourish and fade. Praise will become criticism. Enemies may become friends. Friends may become strangers. Such is the nature of all conditioned things. But wisdom asks for nothing to remain. It simply sees clearly, and in that clarity, the endless struggle to compare, to judge, and to demand that life obey our expectations begins to fall silent. Perhaps true victory has never belonged to those who possessed the most. Perhaps it has always belonged to those who finally discovered there was nothing left to cling to. And when nothing remains to be grasped, what suffering can still find a place to stay?